Thanks for coming back with us here on BPTV. Today, we bring you the story of Nick Hamel, one of the bravest sports fans you could ever meet. Even though he has faced significant obstacles throughout his life, Hamel's love for sports has never wavered. And along the way, he has developed many relationships with professional athletes. Our Jack Curry recently spent time with Nick to learn about his remarkable outlook on life and some of the interaction he's had with members of the Yankees family.
Nick Hamel insists that he's no different from any 20-year-old who loves the Yankees. He's passionate, he's funny, and his fantasy baseball team is better than yours. Nick doesn't focus on being born with spina bifida, a birth defect in which the bones of the spine don't form properly around the spinal cord, or being in a wheelchair for his entire life. Nick simply stresses, "I'm just like every other kid." He is, and he isn't. After you meet Nick and witness his cheerful disposition and infectious personality, you realize just how special he is.
How you doing?
Good.
Good? Ah! Okay.
Best delivery I think I've ever seen.
Oh, thank you, man.
I'm happy to be here. Yeah. This is pretty good, pretty awesome.
Why do you think you fell in love with baseball?
Just growing up and my whole family's baseball and just being around it so much, I think I fell in love with it.
And what does baseball do for you?
It brings joy to my life. Like, been through so much.
You have said before that you're in a wheelchair, you've had the surgeries, but you said, push all that aside. I'm just like every other kid. What gives you the strength and the ability to say that?
Like I always say, what's the point of being negative all the time? Just try to make the most of it and just stay positive. I rode the elevator with Joe Torre, Ryan Kaplan, and Yogi, and they all signed the ball for me.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thanks for coming back.
No problem.
There was another time where you were at a game at Tropicana Field, and what happened with Mariano Rivera when he came down to the bullpen and was looking for you?
I've known Mo for a long time, and that particular time, he had come down and he was looking for me, but it was so crowded, as you probably know, and he kept trying to throw me a ball, and these fans kept catching it. So he finally said, "Everybody out," and he threw me it, and then he signed it to Nick, "May God bless you."
For Nick, life revolves around his love of sports and how he can embrace every adventure and conquer every obstacle. Nick doesn't worry about being paralyzed from the waist down or what he can't do. Nick is a beacon of positive energy, a wise and happy 20-year-old who sounded even wiser and looked even happier on the day he spent with the Yankees.
Maddest I think I've ever seen you was when you get blown out. Was it last year or the year before? Even Michael commented.
Was it last Diaz in Anaheim?
Yeah, last Diaz in Anaheim.
Yeah, I was pretty mad that day.
Your dad has told me that in some of your tougher times in the hospital, that what helped get you through some time was talking about baseball, thinking about baseball. How impactful has baseball been to you to help you get through all that you have to experience?
Baseball is my life, and it just helps me to think about the positive. And baseball is something positive in my life.
Do you realize how special a kid you are? When you put your head down on the pillow at night, do you realize how much of an impact you have on people?
Yeah. As much of an impact as I have on people, people have that same impact on me.
And we welcome in our Jack Curry now. Jack, what a memorable story. You spent a day with Nick and the Yankees down during spring training. Besides what we just saw in the piece, what were your biggest takeaways about this young man?
You know what, Nancy, how people gravitate toward Nick. He was there to meet as many Yankees as he could and have as many conversations as he could. But once people talk to Nick and go over and start to interact with him, they want to stay with Nick. It's almost as if they're the ones who are meeting the celebrity. And in talking to Nick's parents, Randy and Sue, and one of his best friends, Larry Sullivan, they said that happens everywhere that Nick goes. And what's also interesting to me, we saw him talking there with Joe Girardi. He didn't want an autograph. He just wanted the conversation. Finally, as the conversation was winding down, Girardi said to him, Nick, can I get you a couple of baseballs or something? So Girardi signed a couple of baseballs for him.
That's a great story. He's a big Yankee fan, and he's so happy around the ballpark.
He's very excited to be around the ballpark. That's all he wants to do. And by the way, Nancy, you and I had better watch out because he does great impersonations. He's got a Michael Kay see you home run call. He's got the John Sterling, it is high, it is far, it is gone. And he would like to work in the sports media someday. So you and I better watch out. He's coming for our jobs.
Okay, maybe he'll develop a little Jack Curry imitation, too. Wait for that one.